What's up, North County? We got your backstage pass with all things music in the North County and beyond. I'm Sean Logan, and my co-host is Randy Doty.
What's up?
Today on the show, we have Ray Rocha and Tim McLean. But before we get to them, we're going to list off some music happenings this week in the North County and the South County. Randy, what do you got in store?
All over the county, man. We live in the music world, man. This is like Music City.
The mecca of music.
It really is. We're like Nashville of California. Am I wrong?
Nope, you're right in there.
I mean, we have some badass musicians. We have artists that come through here all the time to all these kick-ass places, and we're gonna start listing off where you can go see some cool music.
Yep, weather's getting better, so there's going to be more concerts on the outside as well as the inside. So,
well, not only do you have like your concerts, obviously Vina Robus is a given, California Mid-State Fair is a given, but you have all these different venues that are actually starting to bring in some big people, some big names, right?
Yeah.
And they're putting on these concerts with the locals, and that's what's really driving this. And I would say that's driving us is the local scene, right?
For sure. With wineries and some of the other venues that are popping up, it gives more opportunity for all the local people to jump up and show what they have to offer.
Well, not only do we have our guests today, but we've had, let's see, Kenny Lee Lewis, right?
Right.
Which he is the guitarist for the
He was originally the guitarist for Steve Miller Band, but one day Steve heard him playing bass, so he said, nope, you're the bass player now. So he's the bass player for Steve Miller Band.
Very cool. And then tell us about some of the other guests that we had on here recently. This is our fourth week, right?
Yeah, this is our fourth week.
So
the second week we had Jake Durati, local drummer, and we had Roger Siminoff, who he makes strings for guitars, mandolins, and he also makes mandolins.
Awesome.
And then last week we had a Zoom meeting with Robbie Lochner, who was the guitar player for Jack Russell's Great White. And then also we had Dan Ernst, a longtime local musician, a great guy who also owns Grand Central Music in San Luis.
Right on. Well, we got some stuff coming up this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Let's see, what do I got? So I got the Club Car Bar.
Okay.
So the Club Car Bar is the restaurant and bar that's right here in Templeton. Well, I shouldn't say restaurant because the Pig Iron right next to it is the restaurant.
Right.
So you got the Club Car Bar, which is a cool, badass local bar right in downtown Templeton, open till midnight, which is great stage, just great appeal. And this Saturday, they got the Tijuana Panthers coming to town. What kind of kick-ass name is that? The Tijuana Panthers, right?
Awesome.
And then you got Soft Jaw, Poncho, and the Wizards coming as well with them. And then our guest today, we have Tim McLean coming on Sunday, right?
Nice.
How kick-ass is that?
That sounds like a good lineup, man.
Dude, it's going to be awesome. And like I said, I think with all these guys, the Club Car Bar, downtown Templeton is a place that you do not want to not be there.
For sure.
So what do you got?
Well, for the Poorhouse, we got 3 for this week. On Friday, Bremen Town is going to be playing on Friday night. I'm not familiar with those guys, but on Saturday, we have Brash Mash. They're a pretty big-known band from around here, so they'll be playing Saturday night. And then on Sunday is Bitterwater Road. They'll be playing at the Poorhouse.
Little blues or what? What kind of music is that, you think?
I think it's a little bit blues, a little bit country, yeah.
So let's talk about the Poorhouse. So the Poorhouse is located there in the south side of Paso, right there by, the railroad tracks?
Railroad tracks around the corner from the post office.
Like 5th Street-ish or something like that?
Yeah.
But they bring in some really good acts. I mean, literally, they got something going on every single week, really.
Yeah, Leslie in the last year and a half, I think she's really reached out and tried to bring in some bigger names that are traveling through the area. So we don't got them listed for this week, but in the upcoming weeks, I'm sure we'll see some bigger names.
Very cool. So this week we got the Siren kicking off on Thursday with Marty O'Reilly and Dave Tate. Okay. And then that's Friday. So Saturday you got Jerry's Middle Finger, which I like the name of that, which is obviously a Grateful Dead celebration, probably a tribute band. And then Saturday you got Roots Reggae's Legends of the Wailing Souls of Resignation.
Wow.
So I'm typically thinking that's going to be reggae with a lot of hooch, a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Let it herb.
You could be right on track with that one.
Which is okay, because California, it's fine.
Yeah.
Right? We should have some here, too, for our show.
Right. Well, Pine Street, Wednesday, which is tomorrow, we got Tim McLean again.
Dude, that guy's all over the place.
I know,
Dude,
he's here tonight.
He's like a local legend.
Yeah, here tonight, and then tomorrow in Pine Street. And then if you roll a little bit down from Pine Street, Cal Coast Beer Company on Friday, the Killer Dueling Pianos is going to be there on Friday. You've heard of those guys, right?
So I got to say that, so the dueling pianos, right? Okay, so when we went there the first time, which was like 6-8 months ago, we got invited and somebody gave us tickets to go see this thing, right? And I'm like, dude, I'm not going to watch piano playing. I'm like, no way. And they're like, my wife's like, just go, it's fine. It's for the birthday, this and that. I'm like, all right, I'll go check it out. I had a blast. That was the funnest, most entertaining event that I've probably been to in a very, very long time. These guys went back and forth. They fed off the crowd. You could put in songs and they would maybe play it really good or limp along, but they still played it, fairly decent. It was a kick-ass time, man. I thought that was the best show I've probably ever seen, really. Wow. And I would have never, ever bought tickets to even go to that. When you say piano, dueling pianos, and 2 of them, I'm out. But with that, I would say 100%, if you haven't been, got to go.
Well, they'll be there at Cal Coast Beer Company this Friday. And then on Saturday, James Rivers will be there at Cal Coast Beer Company.
Which is, he's a local guy, right?
I'm not familiar with James.
Okay. I think he's a local guy, and he plays at a bunch of different venues in the North County and South County. So, but of course, you got the California Mid-State Fair, which just announced Zach Brown Band. So they've announced their first one on the 21st of July. So if you get your tickets and get ready for some country stomping and rock and rolling, because I'm sure there's going to be some other kick-ass. Maybe Tim will be there too. Maybe he'll be on the headliner. I don't know. Could
be. But speaking of country, and speaking of they just announced the Cork and Jug Country Jam on May 25th with Midland and Tanya Tucker, plus more to be announced.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Tanya Tucker, I mean, she's a legend for sure.
So we talked about Tim, which is going to be our guest here shortly. What about Ray? So what's Ray's involvement? What's his band?
Well, Ray's been in a bunch of numerous bands. His current most one is High Voltage, the AC/DC tribute band. But we'll let Ray get into the story about how that came to be, as well as his journey up to that point.
That's going to be awesome. I can't wait for that one.
Well, why don't we hit a commercial right now, and when we come back, we'll have Ray Rocha.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
We're back with your Backstage Pass. And here we have Ray Rocha. Ray, thanks for coming in today.
Dude, glad to be here, man. Thank you, Sean, for inviting me.
Yeah, of course, man. No problem. Well, why don't we just kind of kick off the story about your start with your early music introduction?
Yeah, okay. So, I grew up in Los Angeles in a town called Baldwin Park. My dad was a jazz pianist, a concert piano player. He wrote scores for some movies. He was a pretty connected dude. And so the house was really musical from the start, a lot of that. And in our house, if you took piano lessons from Dad, you were in the good graces of Dad.
Nice.
So some of my brothers and sisters, they didn't want any part of that, but I sucked up right away because I like the piano, And so we did that till I was 10, and then when I was 10, I wanted to be a drummer, and I don't know why. I don't know if I saw somebody on TV or whatever, but I was drawn to the drums. And I told my dad, I want to be a drummer. And he was like, dude, drummer, give me a break, because I was playing trumpet in band, and, I was like first chair trumpet in junior high. And I mean, I was, I could play instruments. And I wanted to be a drummer. So I got my drum set, first drum set, I was 10 for my birthday. And I just, beat the hell out of it. And I'm still doing it. I think I joined my first real band when I was 15. And, we played backyard parties and stuff like that, and, local stuff. That band was called City Limit. We had an original that we wrote. It was called Take Orange Sunshine.
What was it?
Take Orange Sunshine.
Okay.
If you know what that is, you know what that is. And then I joined a band that was actually working a lot. So I was 17, and we were playing. We went on a military circuit, so we were playing all the bases up and down the West Coast, and they were pretty strict about age. I was definitely under 21. I was the youngest guy in the band. All the guys were over 21, so that was really fun. So once I got a taste of that, it's like I liked playing live. It was fun, and that carried me over. I moved to Hollywood, in like 79, and I wanted to be a big rock star there, and that was an interesting time too.
Back in the 80s there?
Yeah, it was the 80s. I lived close to the Strip. All that 80s big hair rock was going off, and I was in a bunch of bands trying to make it, trying to get record deals and trying to, make it. We never did. Played a lot of great shows. Played all the great venues down there. Every club you could think of, we played. Sure. FM Station, Filthies, Gazzari's, Starwood, Whiskey, Troubadour. I mean, all those places. It was fun. It was a fun time.
Nice.
But nothing ever came of it. I mean, I had some great experiences and things like that, but I never really got anywhere. Played a lot of shows, put out some demos, put out a couple EPs, but nothing really of note.
So Ray, but you seem like you got crazy down there in the LA Times in the 80s.
Yeah, 80s was a blur. I had some family tragedy. My dad died in 84, and I was young. I was 24, and I didn't really know how to cope with that, man. I had no tools, and honestly, basically, I turned to the bottle. I just numbed it for 6 years drinking. I tried to just forget. I didn't want to feel it, and I got luckily for me, I pulled out of it in '91. I pulled out of that and got my life together. But it was a hard time, dude. Yeah, it was sad. When you're young and you lose your mentor and you're the person I'm a musician because of him. It was a real challenge, and luckily for me, it took a few years, but ended up pulling out of that, man. But that was a rough patch for sure.
What was one of the things that you tried to really establish yourself and get yourself known while you were down there? I mean, like I said, you're down there in the 80s. It's rock, era is going, and there's a lot of fish in the sea, right?
There's so many great drummers down there, man. It's so many great musicians. I guess one of the band, we had this band called Thundercats. Right, with the Z, and we decided we were going to be like a glam. I don't even know what to call it. Theatrical band. So, and we were playing all originals, and we were playing the circuit, and we would bring female bodybuilders on stage to pose.
Nice. All right.
And then we had a guy, this lead singer, this Cat Devin. This is hilarious. He made this mock-up of two mannequin heads, right? On a football shoulder pads. So he had these two mannequin heads, and he painted them with the hair to me to look just like him. And he would come out and have like 3 heads headbanging, man. It was funny. That was probably the band that got the closest, and I think it was because of a lot of that, all that theatrical stuff. But it was just the timing and we were in a band with musicians, and how that goes sometimes.
Sure.
And so, but I mean, I do have some good experiences from it, for sure.
Do you keep in contact with any of those guys from back in the day?
I do. I do. I'm in touch with a lot of guys. Not too many. Maybe 10 or 15 guys. It's a real transitory time. People would be in Hollywood and then they would be gone, and you would like, whatever happened to it? It was like you had internet back then. People would just disappear and their landline was gone, and you're like, they're gone. You know what I mean? And you would never see them again. And so, you know, a lot of that happened. So I'm in touch with a few guys. I'll tell you what, when the MySpace came out, that really helped put me in touch with guys that I hadn't seen. And then obviously Facebook, you know, came around, and so that brought a lot of us back together. And it was we had some jam sessions of old musicians, you know, guys who used to be in bands together. A lot of fun. Yeah.
You mentioned you were doing originals with these bands. Did you guys do recordings of those bands?
Oh yeah. I have some recordings and all on the computer now. You know what I mean? I have all digital. I think maybe I'd have a total of like 30, 40 songs that I played on or wrote or both. And definitely nothing that I sang on for sure.
So once you got to that point, how did you move to this area?
Okay, so let's see. It's 91. You know, 91 was a big year for me. I actually, you know, I mean, I'm going to just say what it is, but I got sober in AA in 91, you know. And so that kind of put me on a path to like do everything a little bit better, you know. And I was still living in LA, and I decided that I needed to change of pace. And so I moved up. My family owned a beach house in Oceano. And I told my mom, I'm like, hey man, you know, can I just rent the beach house just to get out of here for a while and see, you know. And keep in mind, at this time, I hadn't touched a drum stick in 2 years. Like I kind of gave up drumming. You know, I was done with it, you know, because I needed to clean up my life. And I equated playing drums and being in bands with that lifestyle, which is completely ignorant. But that's what in my head at that time. So anyway, so like I moved up here. I think I had like $5,000 cash and no job prospects. And yeah, so I moved up here and I got a day job and I really liked it. And then I moved from Oceano after a year. I moved to San Luis. And what happened was in San Luis, I have drums, but I'm not really playing. I'm afraid to play, really, honestly. And where I moved to was right on Carmel Street, right around the corner from the old drum circuit on Bouchon. I don't know if you guys remember it. It used to be on Bouchon. Yeah, that little triangle.
Yeah.
And I walked in there and talked to Steve Hilstein. You know, everybody knows that dude. And he said, hey, you should do the drum competition, you know. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm not really playing anymore. And he's like, no, I want you to do it. You know, you can meet some drummers, meet some friends, you know, meet other musicians and all this. And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll do it. So then I started practicing, you know, and I had this, you know, I had a nice drum set still, but the chops and the drum solo stuff, it was freakish how fast it came back. It was just like it never went away. It was like right there. I'm like, it was really easy to play. I'm like, wow, you know, I can do this, you know. So I practiced, and this is when they used to have the drum competition at Cal Poly. It used to be at the theater there, at Spanos Theater. And so I went, and I didn't really know anybody, you know. I knew Steve, and that pretty much that's it. And, you know, I didn't know the format. I didn't know anything, you know. All I knew was that I was going to be the 6th drummer. That's what I knew. And so you had like 5 minutes to set up your drum set back then. And only had 4 set up at a time across the stage, and they do 1, 2, 3, 4, and then they throw the. So anyway, I did the solo that I'd worked on, and the same solo I used to do in Hollywood. You know, the same, pretty much the same format. You know, I'm not that innovative. And but dude, I won the thing. You know, I won, and I'm like, maybe I should look at playing drums again. You know, and like from that point on, which was I think 1994. Man, I've been working as a drummer, you know, did a bunch of different bands, and that kind of just, you know, pushed me off a cliff into the local San Luis Obispo, North County music scene, and I'm grateful for that, man. Yeah, I owe Steve a debt of gratitude for that. He knows it.
Do you think if you would have not walked in there, do you think you would be where you're at today?
No.
Really?
No, I would be different. But I don't know if I would I met a bunch of nice guys. I met a bunch of cool drummers. I got asked to join a bunch of bands like right off the bat, you know, everybody wanted the new rock guy or whatever, you know, I'm like, oh, you know, sure. And so the first band I joined was Forecast Band, which was with Susan Anderson now. And that was a country band, country rock band. And she played, I mean, we played 4 weekends a month at least.
Wow.
Back then, you know, you had a lot of places to play, you know, and we worked our butts off, and, you know, it was a lot of fun, you know. And then I went from that band, I went to Shade Tree. I don't know if you guys remember Shade Tree. That was one of the top cover bands in the county for years.
Right.
And yeah, and then Jesus, after that was just other bands. I started a few bands, you know, and then yeah, and it was fun because I realized that I could play drums and have fun and not party. That was like, you know, seems simple to say. Like, it's like, oh, that's, dude, well, everybody knows that. No, I didn't know that. That was like news to me, you know, so. But yeah, it started it off for me.
That's great, man. Yeah, that's awesome that Steve was able to kind of do that.
Yeah, and then, you know, then in 2010, November, Thanksgiving, I remember, that's when we started High Voltage, 2010.
So how did that come about? Was it your idea? Was it you were with some buddies, or how did that all?
So everybody knows Kelly Atwell, right?
Of course.
So Kelly and I are both in Mean Gene's band, you know, Gene Baker.
Right.
And we were playing a lot. It was fun. It was a good time. You know, we were playing a lot of shows, and then so Gene, you know, I'm not saying anything out of school. So Gene fires Kelly via email, right? He says he fires Kelly, and Kelly's calling me up, man, I can't believe it, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, it's too bad, dude, but you know, I'm gonna still play, you know, having fun, blah blah. And then like 2 weeks later, Gene fired me by email. I'm like, what? WTF,
Wow.
bro? You know? So I called Kelly, man. I'm like, hey, dude, you know, let's start a band, you know? And he goes, yeah. And so we talked about, like, I don't want to start another cover band. We've done that. I don't, you know, neither one of us really wanted to write originals. And then I was asking, well, what can you sing? And blah, blah, blah. And he was like, dude, I can sing AC/DC. I go, well, you know, if you're going to do a tribute band of AC/DC, can you sing like 25, 30 songs a night? He said, yeah. So we recruited some guys, and that started it. And we, you know, in fact, what's funny is you guys talked about the Poorhouse. Our first real gig was at the old Poorhouse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was Sean. Sean hired us.
Right. Yeah, that band has been pretty successful since then. You've had some members come and go. What's the future plans for it?
So you're right. High Voltage has gone through. I mean, I am the only member of High Voltage that's played every show. You know. And I managed the
Sounds
band.
familiar.
Yeah, right. I know. Good to you. Somebody's got to do it.
Right.
So you know, I manage the band. I book the shows, and I find the members. And so what's great about the AC/DC tribute band scene nationwide is there's a network of guys. That's all they do, and you could go. You know, and there's Facebook pages for this stuff. So like if you need a Malcolm, or you need an Angus, or you need a Brian, you know, or if you needed a Phil Rudd, a drummer, you know, you could go on there and find guys. And if they're in other bands, like none of these bands are like territorial about their members. So like you could get in touch with them and say, hey, I got a gig on this date. I need a Malcolm. Can you play these 25 songs? Yes, I can. What's the pay? You know, and then it's like, then you're on. Uh-huh. And so I've had to do that for years. And so like the current lineup of High Voltage is Andy Shellcross on bass. And he actually was the first bass player in the band. And then he left to go do some other things. And he's been back for 10 years at least. But him, I have a Malcolm, which is Tony, and he lives in Long Beach. And he's in a tribute band down there that's real successful. He comes up and do the shows. We live in paradise, dude. Everybody wants to come to the Central Coast, right? And my Angus, RJ, he's in Fresno. And my singer is Brian Donson. That fucker lives in Pennsylvania, man.
Oh my God.
Dude, I'm not kidding, man. But it's like that's all he does. He's a professional AC/DC touring tribute vocalist.
So you guys don't really have to get together and practice.
Everybody plays the songs like the albums, and it's a bunch of pros, and we just show up and play.
So you play your thing, they play theirs, and then you bring them together on show night.
Isn't that weird?
It's rock and roll,
I mean,
baby.
we did. God, years ago, I lost a singer, and I brought in a singer. I went down to LA and listened to this dude. And he was really good, and I met him. Hey, how's it going? Blah blah blah. And dude, I got a show, but it involves, we're going to go on the radio live, Jeff and Jeremy. We're going to go live on radio 7 in the morning, and then we're going to play Slow Brew that night. And so this dude shows up at my house like, I don't know, 10 o'clock at night, the night before all that, right? And he's tired, and he hangs out. None of the band members ever met him. We all met at the radio station. Yeah, he's going to be singing with us today, and this is so-and-so, so-and-so. Without even a rehearsal note or anything, we go live on Jeff and Jeremy and played like 3 songs and just nailed it.
Wow.
I mean, there's a level of musicianship that these guys are at that's like, they could do that. They're really, really good, so.
Now, Ray, I got another question. Sean, let me jump in front real quick. But as far as like your rating of, so obviously that's all you guys play is AC/DC. So you have pretty much just kind of like sealed up everything as far as the sound, the whole 9 yards. Amongst other tribute bands, in your own opinion, what would you rate like where you guys are at as far as like?
Well, okay, so there's like, let's say there's like 10 is the best, we're like a 6,
Really?
6 or 7, yeah. There's some touring AC/DC tribute bands that are just completely, on some nights where we could be an 8, but there's just some tribute bands that are just off the hook, so good. And actually I get members from those bands. If they're not working, they'll come play. And same with me, like I played with 4 different AC tribute bands. I did some shows in Canada, did some shows up north, done some shows in LA, like their drummer can't make it, or one time the drummer didn't have a passport, so like, hey Ray, can you get to Canada? I'm like, yeah, man, send me tickets.
Has the band, like any of the members of the band ever like reached out to you and say, dude, you guys are fucking good, man. You guys are better than us.
No. I mean, we're happy with our little enclave of Central Coast. You know what I mean? Like we're glad to be here, and we do some shows outside of the area, but we've slowed down a lot over the last few years, mainly because life's in session, man. Guys have families and kids, and and plus if you got members all over the state and country, it's kind of hard to pull everybody together. So we've slowed down. We're still in business for sure. We just don't play as much as we used to.
Gotcha. Speaking of shows and stuff, is there a show or a venue that you've played that you're most proud of?
Well, Mid-State Fair has been pretty good. We've played there 4 times, all on the, I call it the Fort stage, but I'm not sure what is Frontier?
Well, Frontier.
Yeah, we've done the Frontier stage. They treat you really good there. So those have been good shows. I think it's 3,000 people. That's been fun. We did some in Ventura. They used to have the Discovery Ventura, and that's a really fun place too. And that's a place when it's not there anymore. They've changed names or something. But when it's sold out and packed, it's just they're right up on your face. Like the Siren. The Siren's a great place to play. They're like the crowd is on you, and like you can just it's fun when and it's nice to be in a position to draw people to come see you. It feels good.
For sure. You've played, so many shows over the years. I kind of like to ask some of the veteran musicians if you can recall like a funny incident or something that's happened on stage that you could tell a story of.
Well, I have to think about that one for a minute. I know I've thrown drumsticks at band members. I've done that. Not proud
on
of
purpose?
It. Not proud of it. Sometimes you got to get people to pay attention.
Right? Livens up the show a little bit,
I can't really yell at them. Yeah, I mean, we've had some definite, we've had some mistakes, like we had a big show down in LA, man, and the bass player, he wasn't ready. Like, I don't know if he got high or whatever, man, and we're like, got all these people, and it was a challenge. It was a challenge. Years ago in Hollywood, Fairfax Avenue in Hollywood used to be, they used to have these street fairs there back in the 80s, and I was play those shows. They were fun. And one time, I mean, this is not pretty, but we were playing a concert there, and this band was called the Mixers. This is like a reggae rock band with the female singer. So think of like, I don't know, kind of like the Police with the female singer, and I mean, it was a fun band, really good band, and playing some really great drum beats. You know, some stuff that's was really fun. Yeah. But I ate a falafel, man, before that, and I got sick, man. I'm like, about the third song, you know, it's just like, it's not feeling good. And my roadie comes over, he's like, dude, what's the matter? What's the matter? I'm like, get me a bucket, you know. So yeah, that was not pretty. I don't know how many people saw that, but yeah, that wasn't very fun.
You're just like, he's committed,
dude. Those were the days, man.
Well, I know before we went live here, you showed me a picture of your home drum set. Can you tell us a little bit about some of your gear that you have?
Yeah, so I have a home drum set that never leaves the house, and then I have my high voltage drum set, which is brand correct for what Phil Rudd uses. It's a Sonar kit, you know, and it's this very, you know, 6 drums, it's a small drum set. The AC/DC doesn't require a bunch of drums. So I have that drum set, and that one stays in cases. It comes out for high voltage or other shows, you know, and then it just goes back into cases. And the home drum set, this is this Gretsch kit. It's orange. It's just this massive, you know, right now on, I mean, it's embarrassing. It is really, because it's like 22 drums. That's like, it's embarrassing. But, you know, I built this home studio, 20 by 14 building, and decided, you know, I wanted a drum set, you know, big drum set. I'm from the 80s, man. I like a lot of drums, man. You know, I'm like that guy. I just like a lot of toms, and I just want to hit shit. And so I bought this drum set, and it's just been morphed into this massive thing, you know, and I had, yeah, I mean, it's just funny. You know, it's got a lot of cymbals, it's got a lot of drums. It's just giant drums, and it's so fun because I go out there and I just, like, you know, I tell my wife, I'm like, hey man, I'm in the studio, and she's like, yeah, bye. And I just go out there and I'll just play drums for an hour or whatever, and come back in, and you know, it's like it's really fun, and that's where I'm currently rehearsing too. So.
Right. I know earlier you had talked about when you and Kelly were starting to talk about high voltage, that back then you had mentioned that you guys weren't interested in doing original music. Has that changed over the years, or you still kind of feel like you're not really into the original stuff?
I'm into original music. I love writing. I write songs. You know, I'm a songwriter. I play piano. You know, I understand chord structure, and you know, I love all that. And I still write songs. I still write lyrics.
Okay.
But I just haven't found a spot yet where I want to put a band together to play those songs. You know, but I love everything about the creative process about writing your own music. I love it. Yeah.
Great. Do you have any other projects that you want to tell us about?
Yeah, I started this new band. I think we're a month in, you know, and it's Al Martinez, the local guitar player, and Andy Shellcross, the bass player from High Voltage. And so Andy and I were talking because we want to play more. Like, we want to play more shows. And with High Voltage, you know, like I mentioned earlier, there's only so much we could do with the geographic constraints that we have, you know, with the members being all over the place. So, you know, what do you want to do, Andy? I don't know, mate. I want to rock and roll, mate. You know, and I'm like, well, so we kicked it around, and so I told him, I go, why don't we do like a instead of doing, because neither one of us wanted to go out and play classic rock, and although we both songwriters, neither one of us really wanted to do that. So I don't know whose idea it was, but we ended up with the concept of. Deep Purple is the head of the snake, right? So you got Deep Purple. So, and it involves all the musicians or bands that Deep Purple spawned. So that means you have Deep Purple Rainbow, you got Black Sabbath with Dio, you have Whitesnake, and Dio. And then of course you got your, you know, Glover had some stuff, and the Gillan, you know, Ian Gillan has stuff. So that's what it is. And so we've had about, I don't know, 6 rehearsals. We've got, you know, we almost got the whole Heaven and Hell album down. You know, I mean, it's like Al's a great guitar player, you know, and Andy could play the bass. So that's where we're headed now. I don't know where it's going to go show wise. I'm sure we're going to be doing some performing this summer, but you know, we don't have a name yet. You know, so if anybody out there can think of a name, shoot it our way, because. It's going to be fun, and it's going to be pro, you know.
Do you have a singer yet, or are you still looking singer?
I've interviewed 3 singers, nothing finalized yet. Obviously going to need a keyboard player that could play the Rhodes, you know, all those great keyboard parts from the old, from Deep Purple, you know, and the other bands have keyboards also. So probably going to do that. Al, I'll tell you what though, man, that dude's playing a lot of the keyboard parts on guitar. He's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy. Okay, well, thanks for coming in, Ray. Really appreciate all the stories and everything.
Right on, man. Glad to have you. Thanks a lot, man.
Yeah, for sure. When's AC/DC playing next, man?
Okay, so our next show is we got High Voltage at the Poorhouse, and I think Leslie's got us there. I know Leslie's got there July 6th.
Oh, okay.
So it's a Saturday night, 4th of July weekend, or a little after that. But that's the date. So it's going to be great too. Same lineup as last time, and we're pretty excited about it.
You guys do autographs too?
Nobody wants my autograph.
Come on. You never know. After this, you might get all kinds of requests.
And we just like playing, man. It's a lot of fun.
Awesome. I love AC/DC.
Well, thanks again, Ray. Appreciate it. We're going to hit a commercial break right now, but when we come back, we'll have Tim McLean.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Hi, welcome to Kennedy Club Fitness, where we have something for everyone. We have weights, cardio, group exercise classes, racquetball, basketball, swimming, and pickleball coming soon. Here at Kennedy, we're committed to health, wellness, and community. Stop by any of our 4 locations: Paso Robles, Atascadero, San Luis Obispo, and Arroyo Grande, or check out our website at kennedyclubs.com.
And we're back with Tim McLean. Tim, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me. It's
Yeah.
always an honor being here.
Yeah, glad you're here. Well, let's just get it started. Can you tell us exactly how you got started, interested in music and playing guitar?
Well, I've pretty much been interested in playing guitar since I was a little kid, and I always wanted to play guitar, and the family said no, it led to the devil's music, and so they got me a keyboard, and I learned to play that, and just didn't work out. I mean, I learned to play it, but always still wanted to play the guitar. So when I was 15, bought my first electric, a little prime amp. The guitar teacher taught me my first chords and how to read tab, and been pretty much self-taught ever since. And always wanted to sing and write my own stuff. And then met a few people along the way. Pretty much usually comes down to a woman making you want to write a song, and got into that, delved into that, and just kind of was a hobby for a while. You actually gave me my first shot at Camosi's, opened up for you guys in Rusted Stone. I mean, I was nervous on stage, the first time, just shaking, and now it's just kind of evened out. And I've had to sacrifice music over the years, last few years, make compromise with the whole stage presence thing, and now that I'm in a situation to where I'm surrounded with a lot of great musicians in the North County, players from the JD Project, Ben Del Giorgio, I've run into Mike Bizzetti, you, and pretty much everybody in the North County that is musically inclined. They've all been really receptive and supportive, and now I'm just going to take it really serious. And so.
That's great, man. Since I've known you, you've mostly been playing acoustic guitar, but you're saying originally you started on electric and then you kind of transitioned to acoustic. Is that how it kind of happened?
Pretty much. And I had the electric, then I always wanted acoustic. And I mean, remember learning the acoustic, it's a little, you got to earn your calluses. And playing on acoustic's always been more, it's something you can do and make it sound like a band without the band. I never really jam with a band. Actually, Poorhouse is doing open jam now. And first time I got pulled on stage and they're like, you're going to jam tonight. I'm like, I've never jammed with a band, ever. And next thing you know, I'm playing next to some really good players. And they're like, who are you and where did you come from? I'm like, my living room. So now I'm just taking that a little more serious as well, trying to get as much playtime with new bands and jamming a lot more, just to hone my chops. So.
Yeah, that was actually my next question. I have noticed that you've been kind of popping up and promoting these different jams at different venues. Is that something, you just spoke about a little bit, but is that something that you've been kind of taking on, like talking to these venues about, hey, I can help support this and get it up and going?
Yeah, you know, the Club Car Bar, actually, I was in there. The artist, they have an open mic night with Uncork the Mic. That's actually coming up this Sunday, where I'll be the featured artist. I'll do the interview and whatnot, but it's an open mic night. I told them, I'm like, you should do open mic night more often, or an open jam. A lot of musicians like having that option a few days a week instead of just once a month or something like that. They're like, we just need somebody to host it. I'm like, I know people. I mean, we all know people that want to play, and just need to cultivate that more, and I'm happy to take that on. Helps me hone my skills as well and get more people playing music. We all love music.
Yeah.
So.
Speaking of loving music, what are like 2 or 3 of your favorite bands that kind of influenced you through the years?
Right off the bat, there was Stain and Aaron Lewis, Pearl Jam, Alice in Chains. I mean, we all know Metallica, but that's Metallica. I do tend to go on the heavier side. I do like Lamb of God and Slayer, so that's usually workout music. And
that's kind of ironic though, because not a lot of what you just said has acoustic guitar in there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of.
They got acoustic covers.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, there's acoustic elements in some of them and stuff like that. But it's just kind of interesting because you're, like you mentioned, you're more of the kind of acoustic side now.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, different people write songs differently. So when you're writing your own original song, do you have to kind of sit down and be like, okay, I'm going into writing mode right now? Or are you one of the types of people that a song could come up when you're driving down the road or anything?
Yes and no. Actually, all of the above. Sometimes you're just noodling around on the guitar and you come up with this little lick and you're like, oh, that's tasty. I got to do something with that. And you just build off of it. And then it's usually once I got the first couple choruses down, the verses and the licks down, then I'll try to come up with the lyrics to kind of match that. And sometimes I'll think of something running down the road, and if I don't have my guitar nearby, I'll forget about it. I'll squirrel out and be like, what? I got to force myself to sit down and be in the moment. Sometimes it'll be on a bourbon night, sit down and play a guitar, and it just kind of flows out.
Yeah, I love that on my phone. It's got that recorder where you can just hit and it records anything, So I use that a lot, like if I've got my acoustic or even electric, but it's not plugged in, just sit it down and play. That saved me a bunch of times for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I'm really getting into a lot of the new gadgets and gizmos. Like as I'm taking this more serious now, I'm doing the in-ear monitor, the little Bluetooth, so you can just hook up your phone and you can actually remove the vocals now and just have a full band with you, so you can actually just jam and have a full-on band, even if you're playing solo. So just a lot of cool stuff out there right now with technology.
Yeah, technology's blown up for sure.
Yeah.
Sounds like I need that app for karaoke.
We got karaoke.
I know, but by myself, I sound so much better.
Like driving down the road.
That's right.
Just all the time. Speaking of originals, can you tell us an original that you're proud of that you have written?
Actually, it's my most recent original. It's because of a woman. Her nickname was always Mama Bear, so I wrote Oso Madre. It's probably conjugated backwards because I don't know my Spanish, but that one, even after we broke up, I actually sent it to her. She's like, wow. And like, she never really liked a lot of my music, but to hear that from her, it was nice.
Did you get back together?
No.
Dang it.
It's my fault, I'm a dude. It's always our fault. So, I'm just trying to be a better guy now and follow my dreams. And you're talking about the Mid-State Fair. I'm applying for the free stage. We'll see how that goes. And never know. Shoot high.
There you go, man.
So
Shoot for the stars. Speaking again of originals, sounds like you've got a handful. Are you thinking about putting something together and do some recording?
yeah, no, I got about 15. Well, completed originals. I got a book of about probably 40 or 50 songs that are just lyrics on paper, and they just have to come to fruition. I need to sit down and, yeah, I'd love to get in the studio. Time and money. Busy guy. So do what I can, when I can afford it, because that costs a little coin too.
Sure, sure. If you could jam with one musician or band, who do you think that would be?
That's a tough call, man. I don't think I could narrow it down to just one. I'd like to play with Joe Bonamassa, just to learn from him. Dude's phenomenal.
Right.
Just
he
with those
went into
pentatonic fives and sevens. I'm like, dude.
He went into Grand Central Music when he was passing through.
Really?
Dan told us that story a couple of weeks ago.
Just
yeah.
looking for something to invest in.
I guess, yeah, he was. He had some show that he was doing where he was looking for particular guitars, and he would stop along the way. Dan really didn't have what he wanted, but he had some amps that he was interested in. But he's played Vina Robles a couple times, but it wasn't during the time that he was playing there. He was just passing through.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Anybody you can run into that's well known and you can pick their brain. That's just awesome. Awesome experience.
Yeah, he's a great guitar player for sure. Speaking of guitars, how about gear? What kind of gear do you use when you play?
So my acoustic, I love the guitar, is a Taylor Koa. It's a 914 CE. It's just a beautiful guitar. I love Koa. It just looks beautiful, plays beautiful, smooth action. I have a couple PRS single cuts, a Tremonti SE. I have an ESP Eclipse. It's not the metal one with active pickups, but more of a classic rock, but can go a little high gain on it, and it's got great sustain. Actually, Mike Bozzetti busted a string on that at the last Open Jam. I got to restring that one. Yeah, nothing too special. I got a little Spark amp, and I can mic that or go DI straight into the sound system. So,
is there a specific guitar or amp that you've always wanted that's kind of just been out there?
I've had many over the years. I've had the Marshall half stack, PV half stacks. I wouldn't mind having just a JSX, PV JSX, the Satriani amp, just to have the little combo. I've gotten over the half stack thing. It's just too much power for me. I find that little 25 watt or a 50 watt, even a 50 watts pushing it for me. But there's an Egnator. I really like the tone in those.
That's what I use.
It's a little out of my price range right now, but yeah.
They're great.
You got to manifest this stuff, So.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it. What about in the future? Where do you see yourself or you and your music in 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind playing the Mid-State Fair. Actually, I wouldn't mind playing Vina Robles just as an opening act. There's just a really cool scene, pretty much in a lot of concert movies, but it's at Bohemian Rhapsody where he walks out into the stadium and there's just all those people. Like that feeling, like as intimidating as that can be, like I think I want to experience something like that. As grandiose as that may be, I think we all want to experience that as a musician. So I don't think I'm alone in that book. So
No. Yeah, that would definitely be pretty awesome to experience that.
I want to play music. It's like most of the times you're like, I can offer you some money. I'm like, dude, I'll play for free. It's not even about the money. It's just playing and hearing people enjoy what I'm bringing to the world. Great quote. That's a great movie too. Here Comes the Boom. Without music, life would be pointless. So, I love music. So,
Yeah, I hear you. What about outside of music? Do you have any hobbies or interests that you do outside of music?
I work a lot. So, no, not really.
It's all about the music.
Right now, yeah, it's just work, music, and, well, I'm single, so, you know.
Tim, what kind of, on a level of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, 1 being the lowest, what would you rate yourself on Guitar Hero?
Guitar Hero, I haven't played that in a long time.
Because I rate myself probably a 9.
If I was to pick it up right now, I'd probably be like 3. But
we should have a jam session.
I'm a pretty quick learn. I'm no like 10.
You know that is nothing like playing the guitar at all.
According to the level,
Slash has come out and said, because he's got his songs on there, and they've given it to him to play, and he's like, "This is nothing. It's a video game. It's not a guitar."
Well,
so
I don't hear
just
that.
Throw that out
I'm
there.
sorry. I am a rocker and I'm a guitarist.
Hold
okay.
off now.
Okay.
I hear a challenge going.
Oh yeah.
I'm always up for a challenge.
Yeah.
You know?
You play the video game one, and I'll bring my amp in, and we can go like that.
Yeah, and we'll get Ray. I think we got some drums. There's part of drums in the Guitar Hero too, like the whole thing. We could play it all.
Yeah, for
They have
sure.
a Guitar Hero drum set.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, I've never been able to play drums. I've always tried to play the drums. I can do 2 hands and a foot for like wah, but as soon as I kick in like a 4th foot or a 2nd foot in there, I'm like, nope, too much.
That's
It's not for me. I'd love to be able to play drums.
But I think you said at the beginning you play piano. You still play piano, or not?
I mean,
really?
if one's in front of me, I'll mess around with it. You know, I can come up with cool little licks and stuff like that and create a melody. I'll be like, okay, that's cool. I'll use that. But,
do you know the chord structure from learning it?
Oh God,
or?
no, I don't know any chords. I know I can look at a sheet of music and go, okay, here's middle C. I'll figure it out. And then there's just stuff that I remember from muscle memory, like when I was in junior high.
Oh, okay.
Just simple Beethoven stuff and nothing too impressive.
Gotcha.
It's not impressive at all. So.
Well, I know we already kind of talked about your show on Wednesday and your show on Sunday, but do you want to promote some other things as well?
Those are the things I got going on right now. So tomorrow at Pine Street, 9 to 12, it's Valentine's Day. I know it's the middle of the week, but somebody's going out tomorrow, and a lot of people end up over at Pine. So come enjoy some music, country, blues, and rock. And then the Club Car Bar, that's 6 to 9. I'll be the last person playing. There'll be some open mic stuff. And other than that, every Monday at Pine Street is open mic. So it's open to anybody. You want to do poetry, you want to get up there and be a comedian.
Really?
Or really, whatever you want to do. I know it's a Monday, but sometimes Mondays are pretty brutal. So, and that's from 9 to 12 or 9 to whenever they close. Next Thursday and every other Thursday after that is open jam at the Poorhouse. I think Gus from Deja Vu, the bassist from Deja Vu, he hosts that. Or I think he started another band. I think it's called Ultra, something like that. They play a lot of Depeche Mode. They usually host it there. That's all I really got going. I know there's a few other things going around, like the Merrymakers got an open blues jam every other Wednesday, something like that. But I'm never down in Osos really, so It's like getting over the grade and going to Harry's. It's just like, no, I'm good. I better get a hotel room there if I'm going to Harry's. So, yeah.
Okay, well, let's hit some commercial break right now.
What's up, North County? Nate Santos here, owner of Santos Bros Plumbing. You might recognize me with my dancing horses at local events such as the Tascadero Tamale Festival, Templeton 4th of July, and Paso Pioneer Day. I am now available for all your home plumbing service and repair needs, from minor drips and drops to emergency leaks and clogs. For the best plumbing service, call Santos Bros Plumbing, pipe wranglers to the rescue.
A Tascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us. We'd also like to thank Ray Rocha and Tim McLean for coming in today. We'd also like to thank our sponsors. That includes Escalar Wines, Wine Travelers Hideaway, Kennedy Club Fitness, Visit Atascadero, 805 Customs, Airflow Filter Service, Pacific 805 Spas, Hanson Enterprises, Borhon Auto Center, Story Termite and Pest Control, and Santos Brothers Plumbing. Tune in next week at 6 p.m. and we'll have Dave McNamara on the show. We'll see you then.
Hi, this is Dave Story, small game hunter with Story Termite and Pest. We're a full-service termite and pest control company. From rodents to termites, we can take care of all your pest control needs. Call today, we can tailor a pest control program that will meet your needs and budget. Contact us at 805-460-0650 or at storytermite.com. Remember, we don't have customers, we have friends.
Hi, welcome to Kennedy Club Fitness, where we have something for everyone. We have weights, cardio, group exercise classes, racquetball, basketball, swimming, and pickleball coming soon. Here at Kennedy, we're committed to health, wellness, and community. Stop by any of our 4 locations: Paso Robles, Atascadero, San Luis Obispo, and Arroyo Grande, or check out our website at kennedyclubs.com.
What's up, North County? This is Teresa Branch with Airflow Filter Service. We are a family-owned business right here in the North County. We have air filters, oils and lubricants, and hydraulic hoses. We provide services that include air filter cleaning, DPF cleaning, and waste oil collection. Come check us out at 1140 Ramada Drive, and we can help you with all your automotive and industrial vehicle needs.
Atascadero isn't your standard getaway. We're unique, just like you. We're growing, transforming, and figuring it out as we go. We're a town filled with innovators, artists, makers, and game changers. We're a little bit country, a little bit funky, and always authentic. We're here for your good times, your slow times, and your changing times. We're all in Atascadero. Come see for yourself. Learn more at visitatascadero.com.
What's up, North County? Nate Santos here, owner of Santos Bros Plumbing. You might recognize me with my dancing horses at local events such as the Atascadero Tamale Festival, Templeton 4th of July, and Paso Pioneer Day. I am now available for all your home plumbing service and repair needs, from minor drips and drops to emergency leaks and clogs. For the best plumbing service, call Santos Bros Plumbing, pipe wranglers to the